person missing. He had a previous engagement, but we do have a quorum. Representatives from Vertex and GVBW are here. Also, we have people from the Senior Center Council, and that's about it. So, first thing that Mark told me that I had to do was get approval of the last minutes. Did anybody read them?
Yes.
You didn't rely on me to send them to you?
Mark sent them.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, okay, so did he send them to you? Did he send them to you? So he's got the right address. He doesn't have yours, Bob? Could you put that in the minutes, please? And we have an acting secretary,
What's his
would
email
be
address?
Brian. What?
His email address, well, what's his email address? Your email address? Your email address, do you have it? Oh, never mind, thank you.
Okay, first, so everybody got the minutes. I'll accept the motion to accept the March 25th minutes of the Permanent Building Committee.
So moved.
Second by Bob. Going too fast there, Slick. I know you're a construction guy.
Oh, trust me, I know shooting. All in favor?
Oh, you're only secretary,
You
not
told me.
chairman yet, okay?
You're the one slowing down, let's go.
I'm trying to get you, lull you into Steve's presentation. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed? Present. There was a question from somebody about whether Bob can sit in the committee, and I asked the town manager, and he said that the school committee had approved you. And did you get a letter from the town? Okay. So Bob is Bob Kimball is officially filling the empty seat that we had for about 6 months. And I thank Bob for volunteering. Not so much for that, I guess. Correspondence and mail. Mike's not here, but he and I got some kind of spam mail about the donation from the Nelson family. And we were supposed to send some information to somebody to get the check. And as we tried to get the addition, and not being a computer geek, I don't know what it's called, but when you click on to get the next thing, I got questioned 6 times whether I was a robot. I picked all the traffic lights, I picked all the school buses, I picked all the bicycles, I picked, I don't know, 100 other things, but it wouldn't send me to the next step. I called the town manager, and he said he thought it was spam or junk mail, so we ignored it.
Why would that go to you, Jim, and not the select board or the town manager?
I think it went to the town manager, that's how Mike knew about it, and it probably went to me. I'll take that back. And not to me, and it probably went to me because I'm chairman of the committee. So they may have, in the correspondence back and forth, the lawyer may have decided to, I'll look at one of the letters I got previously, but he maybe just, CC'd me on the, because for some reason, I think there's 3 people. There was me, Mike, and somebody else that was CC'd on the original. We have a check from the Nelson family. Will you abide by these 6 things and name the senior center? Since the last meeting, the transformer is in. We're still waiting for Verizon, but Steve will take care of all that. Also, in what Steve has is some preparation work for the demolition of the old town hall, because that was brought up to me. I think that's the only correspondence or phone calls I got. I went to the men's senior breakfast, and there was 2 or 3 correspondents. I do want to thank the voters in town. I worked the elections Saturday, and I had at least 10 people come up and thank me for the work that myself and the committee are doing. And well, the people that thanked me personally, I said I couldn't do it without the committee or the other people sitting at this table, because we all work as a team to get both projects done. There's no editorial comment from the secretary. So, that would be correspondence mail and the chairman's report. Steve, it's all yours.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Good evening, everyone. So, as usual, I'll start off with the Senior Community Support Center progress. So, progress since our last meeting, which was on the 25th of March. Sheetrock patching has been ongoing, painting is ongoing, acoustical ceiling grid and tiles are ongoing. Toilet room ceramic tile is complete, and they're doing their punch list on the tile. Resilient flooring is installed and has been protected in all rooms that are required except the multipurpose room, which is still working on the ceiling. Interior and exterior doors are installed. Food service equipment hood installation is ongoing, as well as the equipment. Millwork and casework installation is ongoing. Toilet petitions have been started. Ship slab into the attic has been installed. We continued with the plumbing, HVAC, fire protection, electrical finishes. Gutters and downspouts were installed. Binder paving was installed. Precast concrete curving is probably 80% complete at this point. Patio and sidewalks have been poured. Grading is ongoing. The drainage basins have been started. They've been screening loam and spreading loam, mainly in the back section of the building. National Grid did install the transformer on 417 and holding the primary wiring on the 19th. My understanding is that the electrician has called to get the meter set, and at that point we should have permanent power into the building, which could potentially be this week. The Verizon pole has not been installed yet. There has been multiple emails sent to Verizon by both Vertex and the town. The response keeps saying, well, we put you back on the schedule, should be this week. Put you on the schedule, should be this week. As of an hour ago, it has not been installed as of yet. And Seaver's about 77% done with the project through March of 2024. So some photo documentation.
Hold on.
March or April? March or April?
March.
Question?
Hey, one question. What does Verizon say when you ask them about the date they're gonna have the poll in? Because they act like they never even got notified. It's been going on and on and on.
Well, Mike Unit stepped in,
You've done a lot, I've seen your correspondence.
Yeah, sent an email to another point of contact who seemed to respond positively to it, but that was 2 weeks ago, and I've started emailing
Yeah, I know you have.
and the contact that I had, and basically what I said is we'll put you back in the schedule. Don't know why we were out of the schedule, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's no explanation. It's very, very short responses to them, from them. And I do everything by email because I want a paper trail. So,
And I'd like to add, you've been seeing the correspondence, I don't know who else is getting it, but Steve has actually got down to the point that he almost tells them what color the telephone pole is. And one of the paperwork things, the girl, the alternate contact that Mike Units must have gone to, somehow found out that the paperwork got lost and it got put back in the work order place somewhere. And then 2 days later, he asked, when is it? And the guy will say, in a couple of days, and that's it. And a couple of days go by, and it's not the couple of days, and they're just playing stall tactics. Same with National Grid. They've got you over a stump because they're a monopoly, they're the only ones in town, so, you just wait. And it's not something, I've gone to a couple of different meetings and met with different people, and it's that way everywhere. Everybody, the minute I say, what are you doing with National Grid, or what are you doing, they shake their head and go, oh, and the big sigh, and their story's like our story. There's no way of speeding them up, and,
Private company could never survive
yeah.
with those kind of responses.
Again, we did, we finally got some action from National Grid over, two steps within the same week. But we're still not there yet. As you can see in this photo, there's the transformer that we were waiting for, but there's the meter socket with no meter in it yet. So we need that meter, and then to energize that transformer to provide power to the building. And then the HVAC units can start their startup procedures.
I was surprised, I went up there the day they delivered the transformer. They had given us like 4 hours notice because they had a whole bunch of construction stuff on top of the pad. And Seaver's on-site manager cleaned the whole pad off within 10 minutes. And the supervisor was there and said, well, we're either gonna, this was on Thursday, we're either gonna wire it tomorrow or Saturday. And I don't think he wanted to pay overtime for Saturday, so they showed up on Friday and wired it. I won't say anything more because some things happened, but I was pleasantly surprised that the generator was there, because when we started this whole process 2 years ago, that was like 24 months out. And I don't think we've hit the 20, it seems like it, but I don't think we have. So at least we've got the generator, which I thought we'd be waiting for, because, we had that on the other project at the high school, we had to wait for the scoreboard that was coming from overseas and a flagpole that was coming from somewhere. Flagpole was delivered probably 8 weeks after the project was done, and the scoreboard was delivered like 4 months after the project was done. So, some of the stuff is getting in, and it is what it is. Your ball, Steve.
Yes. Speaking of the generator, just to continue just for a second, it is fortunate that we did get the generator. After other projects that we're waiting well beyond a year and 2 months, and they don't have it yet. And there's no word on when it's coming, except next month. So I guess if we have one good thing, this is it. Just getting back to the Verizon pole for a second, getting the pole in is key, but then that only triggers the next round of utilities that we need to get in, which is fiber, cable, and telephone. But we didn't even really approach those guys until we have a pole. If we had started hounding them 2 months ago, they'd be asking, well, why are you calling us? We have nothing to do with it. So that's the importance of getting that pole. So photo-wise, again, there's the transformer that we were all waiting for. There's the generator, two big pieces of equipment on the service side of the building. Next photo on the left is the condensing units for the HVAC system. Those are also adjacent to the generator. Again, on the service side of the building. This is what this area was set up for. Photo on the right is just curbing and paving, but I'm calling the service driveways the driveway closest to the strip mall. Next photo is just a view of that service area from the rear lawn area. Same with the photo on the right. It's the west rear elevation showing the patio area. And then next couple photos are again photos of the rear of the building, patio area. This is the multi-purpose room. And then as we're getting down here, this is the area of the food pantry.
Before you change that,
Yep.
Is it up to Seaver to notify the brick guy to get the bricks
Yes.
in? So we don't, or the senior center council doesn't have to notify them?
Franny's Landscaping is their
Because it's
landscaping.
back in our court, the building committee's court.
No,
Okay.
it is not. And then the next two photos are the parking lot of the south elevation. This is where most of your customers will park. And then this is sort of the same view of that parking lot. And that's a drive-up window at the food pantry. Now, next photo on the left is a view of the lobby reception desk, not complete yet, but it's, the work is ongoing now. Still got to put the countertop on it. Photo on the right is the toilet petitions in the women's room. Next photo on the left is the men's room subway tile and fixtures. And you can see they're in the process of setting up the toilet petitions, which are actually now done as of today. Photo on the right is the casework in the arts and crafts room. Next photo on the left is the main corridor railings both sides. Photo on the right is the multi-purpose room. We're in the process of finishing up ceiling tiles, and they'll be hanging the pendant lights. There's some ductwork and diffusers that have to go on. Next photo on the left is a view of the progress in the kitchen and on the kitchen equipment. See the hood is up on the upper left over the range, get a couple freezers, the island. Not everything is in its final place, but they are working on it. They're going to be putting in the ceiling next to get away from the high work.
Do we have an FM 200 or something in there? An FM 200 suppression system?
Ansel system
Ansel?
is already in there. I think they haven't quite finished with the nozzles,
Yeah.
but the box is on the wall on the far side of the hood, and the pipes are in. Into the hood.
Is the gas meter on yet?
No, they called in, plumbers called in the gas
You
meter.
can't test that system to the stove works.
Right. Photo on the right is the front entry, the storefront. Got it taped off for protection. So that's just some photos of progress. Scheduled look ahead. Sort of lengthy. Need to complete exterior sealants, start exterior painting, which is mainly the trim. Continue the MEPFP finishes, do the HVAC equipment startup, testing and balancing and commissioning. Once they get permanent power. Complete the electrical room and coordinate with National Grid for the meter and permanent power. Complete interior paint, complete the ceramic tile, ceiling grid and tiles, complete the millwork and casework, install door hardware and glazing, install the toilet accessories, install carpet tiles. Tiles are on site, they're holding off on that until more work is done, which makes perfect sense. Install the window shades, it's usually about a 1 day duration on those. Complete the kitchen equipment installation, install room signage and building signage. Clean the building, generate the GC punch list, then exterior complete sidewalks, install the patio brick pavers, continue the grading and spreading of loam, complete the drainage basins, install fencing, install the exterior signage, continue with the underground site utilities at the drainage basins, install plantings and seeding, install the top coat pavement and striping, and then the National Grid to provide the meter for the permanent power, and the Verizon pole is to be determined. Any questions on schedule?
I have a couple questions. Who's doing the commissioning, the contractor or is the owner?
The owner, we have Fitzmyer Hitachi will be the commissioning agent, and it's part of the HVAC sub in the ATC sub-sub to take part in the commission.
Okay. And then the other one is, when's the paving scheduled, striping? Because those should be 30 days apart, otherwise it's gonna fade.
Well, the paving is, now's not the time to do the paving since they still got equipment running across the
I
line.
don't know, so you could do that for landscaping. That's what I'm nervous about, because we'll be restriping a lot in like 2 years. That makes me nervous. I mean, it's not a huge amount of money, but every time somebody rushes to the finish line, they pave, and 2 days later they're striping, and it just fades in like 2 years.
I don't think we have a limit on when they can do it. And you're right, it's usually 2 to 3 days after, depending on when the
It makes me a
paving
little
is
nervous.
done.
That's all.
A lot of
it's
times
not-
they'll come in at night and do it when the place is empty.
I mean, a lot that big's a couple thousand, maybe too big, but it's just something to keep note. So holding fades in the first year.
Can I add something in a minute?
And that was it.
Trying to be fair to everybody, and I know that this is getting televised live. If you have a question, and I don't know, do you know the phone number here, Beth?
Yep, 508-285-0235,
508-285
0235.
0235. If you have a question, you won't get online, but we'll answer the phone and we'll try to answer your question. So feel free to call.
This is live? This isn't live, Jim.
Oh, it's not live.
Oh, so now like 3 days from now when it's on
You're gonna get
TV,
1,000
you're gonna be
calls.
calling
You
us.
up.
Yeah, just
Send it
refer,
here.
Recant that.
Good
refer
job,
him
Jim.
to Mike.
What's your cell phone, Jim?
I would have said it, but I don't have it with me.
Well, I can give it out.
There's only 3
Give it
buildings
up.
where you can do live.
It'll ring it home. Beverly will answer it. Yeah. Okay, Steve.
That's bad.
Okay. So, other issues in regards to the senior center project schedule, obviously is a big one. Seaver's latest schedule, which they submitted on March 25th, indicates a final building inspection and substantial completion on May 30th of this year. In and of itself, that schedule is 39 calendar days from the actual substantial completion that's in the contract of 421. And we'll get into why that's important in the next couple of bullets. Then Bob sent a notice letter to Seaver on the 21st, requesting a recovery schedule acceleration of the project, inclusive of additional manpower and overtime. Seaver responded on the 25th with their
March.
schedule of March.
Following month.
Although there are more workers on site now, there has been very minimal weekend and overtime work. And mostly a couple site guys, and there was some drywallers there here over the past weekend. And the updated schedule is really flawed. There's quite a few dates that just are not accurate whatsoever.
A lot of open-ended tasks.
Yeah, I mean, I
A
think
lot of
basically they just plunked in
darts.
a number for being complete. I mean, to be honest, you don't do final building inspection on the same day you're saying it'll be substantial. So, but, you know, take it for what it's worth. At this point, they're saying they're gonna be substantially complete. That's not final complete, it's substantially complete on the 30th of essentially this month, or May.
Hold on. Oh,
I was just gonna say, so that was the 24th of March, and you think, are they at 77 now, or you think we're a little bit further than that now?
No, the 77% is based on the approval of the requisition.
That
It's
was-
just,
That was till March.
it's just
30th.
schedule values now.
Yeah, we're here a month later.
Right.
Okay.
We haven't got the pencil rep for
Okay,
it yet.
but we're probably a little bit better than
We
77.
are a little bit better.
And last month, when we were like 47%?
No, we were 60.
Oh, it was 60? Oh, maybe it makes sense.
town hall.
Yeah.
I'm saying,
Yeah,
it
town
looks
hall.
like they came a long way.
Yeah, the town hall is discussed. Well, yeah, a lot of finishes have been done. There's a lot of people that have been in the buildings
Yeah.
because it's multiple subs. So, and like I said, you know, they're approximately 77 through March. So, part of the whole schedule conversation is we finally did get the transformer primary wires from National Grid, and we're hoping to have permanent power this week. installation of the meter has been requested by the EC. Installation of the gas meter has been requested by the plumbing contractor. Verizon remains an impact to the schedule for the telecom pole. That's like we just said. It impacts the internet, cable, and telephone. As of the 21st of April, DBVW is on extended services for construction administration. And there is amendment number 4 that was both sent electronically, and Jim passed it out, that I'd like to get, after we have this discussion, approval on for that amendment to their contract. What I'm finally getting to is liquidated damages are included in the contract at $2,000 a calendar day. Assessment of those liquidated damages is to be determined by the committee. But generally speaking, when we get to the point where they've gone past their substantial completion, we send a notice letter stating that, and that the owner reserves all rights under the language of the contract to assess liquidated damages or not. Because they're obviously going to be, they have been, as of late, hanging their hat on, well, we don't have permanent power, and we don't have good rising pole. Even though there's a ton of other things that aren't.
There is no reason that the building and its site could not have been finished on time.
Especially the
And
site.
deal with the systems as a separate issue.
Correct.
Right.
And we're still not in a position where either the building or the site are within striking distance.
Right.
Jim,
Oh,
how, are they gonna be able to pay the additional charges for late? Will they pay?
Well, it's not that they pay, but we deduct it from their balance. It's not like they're gonna hand a check back. But I wanna bring this up because I wanna have a consensus of PBC that we should issue that letter.
I'd say
I'm
yes.
recommending it, I think Ed and Bob are.
We definitely are, and you are incurring real damages as a result of this.
Yeah, I mean, we're paying them extra fees, right? No.
And at some point in the next few weeks, you should be able to get a more firm date to coordinate the furniture delivery, which may incur some additional storage costs as well, if we need to push it out.
And all those costs may exceed the 2,000 a day.
It may, but you,
Yeah.
with LDs, you are locked into that 2,000, so
Correct.
there's no, the whole issue of trying to figure out what actuals are is, you know.
Yeah, so
it's a
right
very-
now, we're talking the month of May and half the month of April, right? So 45 days roughly? Is that what you said the schedule was, May 30th?
It was April.
22nd, okay, I'll say
April-
roughly
April-
45 days.
April
So
27th.
it's $90,000.
Let's add to that, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Last week, I sent a letter telling them the process for substantial and final completion. It's not just, hey, we're done, get
Yeah.
out here. It's a whole bunch of things that they need to do contractually in order to tell us that they're ready for an inspection. First and foremost is above ceiling. We walked through tonight with Beth,
There's a what?
above ceiling.
Above ceiling inspection.
We need to make sure that all our holes are sealed up for sound and smoke. They're not ready. That's as of an hour and a half ago. So that's still ongoing. Once we get past that, then they can put the ceiling tiles in, finish the ceilings up, and then work on everything else. And at that point, all of the life safety devices need to be installed. We still don't have electrical receptacles and exit signs, let alone fire alarm devices. So it's gonna be a while, is my point. That's why I'm saying this.
I'm just going by the
And
date state.
to your point, it's like we're in a taxi and the meter's running.
so are you done with this explanation? What I'm looking for is, we need a motion to progress along with what you suggest we do.
I think we need a motion to approve DBVW's amendment for the extended construction administration. I don't think we need a vote on issuing Seaver a letter. That's something that we would do anyways, but I just wanna make sure that everybody knows about it before we send it.
And then you agree.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
your- That's, I'm saying no vote, that's a
if
consensus.
that's the case, then everybody has a copy of this,
Yeah.
including the people from DB. Should they not go over this and try to explain it to us? Because, A, we didn't get it till 11 o'clock this morning.
They're two separate issues. One is the change order for the town hall
Right, well,
demolition.
you know where to stop
Do
and
one at
progress,
a time.
progress of the,
The other one at the senior center is for the additional construction
Right.
administration.
well, let's deal
This-
with one
this is-
thing at a time.
okay.
So I
Yeah.
want to deal with the continuation of or the delay of the construction. So.
So the fairest way that we could come up with, since we don't have a firm target date at this point, was to put a weekly cost together. And that's what the $1,862 represents.
And this would be for additional services for construction administration beyond the general contractor's substantial completion date contractually, up to the start of project closeout. Because project closeout is already in the design fee contract.
Correct. And that would assume we've already achieved substantial completion to
Right.
close out.
I suppose that you still want his buddy contract.
Closeout punch list.
And that really doesn't change, it just moves.
Yeah, it's that,
Yeah,
It's a
it's
stop,
just, it's
yeah.
getting there.
yeah, extra
Wiping the
meetings.
sand away to draw the
So-
finish line. Yeah. My opinion of this is, I think we just come to an agreement on a period of time, let's say 8 weeks.
I don't
Instead,
know
because I don't
what
wanna
it is.
keep going back to this over and over again, and
I
I don't
don't
want
know
it to
what
be an
it is.
open check. I know that, but I mean, at least we give you 8 weeks for getting mid-June. That's my opinion. I want
We
you to
don't
keep
need
going.
that in terms of, we're working.
Yeah.
Bob?
Hey, you guys meet still every week,
Yes.
right? What do they say when you tell them, you ask them where they are? I mean, you're supposed to be here, and you're over here. What do they say?
There's not anything coherent.
There's no
What do you
hard
mean by
dates.
that?
There's no hard
They
dates.
tongue in their mouth?
I'll tell you what
Well,
I
they say,
hear.
we're working
I
on
hear
it,
them
we're
say we're
getting
working
there.
on it,
Yeah.
we'll get
back
it
to
done.
you.
Yeah.
But
See, when they're sheet rocking and they're plastering holes and seaming it and all that kind of stuff, and they're still doing that?
You see,
I mean, they were doing that when we walked through before.
you see-
Well, essentially what they did is they did their own punch list, they had the drywaller do his self-punch list before we even look at it. And that's where he's going around doing a lot of repairs, and part of that probably came from the painter pointing things out too. And whatever's on
I'm just,
our field observation reports that get issued.
I'm just amazed that they can sit and look at you and say, we are where we are, or whatever they tell you, I don't know what they tell you.
The
What-
Charlie Brown teacher, womp, 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 womp.
Well,
What you hear every week.
Bob made up I call it the pre-construction punch list of, I think the first time around it was like 48 items. One of them is my pet peeve is the form ties not being covered, and they're still not covered. And I bring it up, but I'm getting to the point, it's stupid, because they say they're gonna take care of it. Well, they did the front of the building, they did the first row of them, and the color was wrong, and then they proceeded to backfill the second row of them, and I got in trouble for uncovering them, but they're still not done. And that's just, I call it the death by 1,000 cuts, but it's actually 45 cuts.
Probably don't
The list has been expanded, I think, you made one last week that's up to about 60.
And that's based on us coming to the site
Just-
and spending a couple hours. It's not anything exhaustive, so I'm quite sure there's way more than that that needs to be addressed.
I mean, it's like walking through today with Beth. Ed and Bob took pictures, made comments. They will get a copy of it. They will tell us, and it's strictly words, not action. And I said something to Chris, who to me is the senior SEVA guy at the meetings. I said to him, I said, you've got this list, and I've handed the list personally to him. I said, what are you doing about it? He says, well, we're working on it according to the seriousness of what it is. but we have problems right now. I says, well, everything's serious to us, we wanna get it done. And they're just giving us lip service. And,
They're not
I
doing
mean,
it. It's 'cause they don't have
I got criticized 2 months ago that it's all means and methods. They have a means of doing it and a method of doing it, and we can't really tell them how to do it. We just have to tell them what we want done.
Correct.
And they will do it similar to Verizon at their schedule. And I don't understand it, and I told them, you know, this is like the third team in. When I was on the site last week, there was representatives to the carpenters union there wanting to check on the guys putting up the wallboard, and even they know, they came up to, they thought I was in charge or something, and they said, so what do you think of the third team in? And I said, do you want the truth or do you want the politically correct answer? And I gave them the politically correct answer because it's not up to me to criticize them. Maybe it is, but, so,
Can we come
so
back?
the outside people are aware of what's going on. We're aware of what's going on. Representative Howard's aware of what's going on, but I keep having to roll back to this means and method stuff. If I was doing it in my house, or Bob Kimball was doing it in his house, he would have had those ties done a long time ago. You know, and we've got rusty nails on some of the casings around the windows that Bob brings up. And they go crazy when he brings it up. Well, don't go crazy, fix it. But that's not a serious thing to them. They'll get to it when they're not busy with getting the transformer or kicking the electrician in the butt to get the wall sockets done or whatever. But, you know, it's not like anybody's not trying. It's just, they're working at their speed. I mean, Steve's been on the site 3 times, and we keep telling him about taping and they send 2 guys. You know, why don't you send 10 guys and get it done? You send 2 guys. There was 2 guys there last Saturday. 4 weeks ago, he stopped in on a Saturday. There was 2 guys there then.
What about during the week?
The site guy that does the site preparation, he was there alone for the first 6 months. Now he's got, I think today he had like 4 people there. When he had the curbing coming in, curbing can't be done alone, so 1 guy's running the backhoe and 2 guys are running the Jeep and 2 guys are setting, but, you know, they've got a chance to come in on Saturdays. And that's a whole disaster because we're supposed to know, or they're supposed to know, that they're working on Saturdays. They don't tell anybody. I stop by the site and they think I'm an OSHA guy because I stop by and I start walking around and everybody starts putting their helmets on and their vests on. And I go, you know, there's 3 guys here and that's it. But they're not putting the effort into it. And, you know, I think this whole Amendment 4, if that's what you want to call it, is a necessary thing. We gave them a letter back in February. They got a little busy for 3 days, and then by the end of the week, they dropped off back to their own way. And it doesn't matter which one of the 3 crews, it seems to be an institutional thing with SEVA. And I'll say that right up front. You know,
So back to our motion,
whatever it was.
which was to approve an amendment for CA services.
And who made that?
I'm verbally speaking through it in my head. Now it's coming out loud. I agree with them, we don't know where the finish line is, but I don't want to keep going back to the well, and I think we got other things we got to talk about with the demo. We need to know what the budget is. So my opinion is we extend it a not to exceed of 8 weeks for that amount.
And that's your motion?
That's my motion.
For Amendment 4.
That way, it
Is there a
takes us to
second?
mid-June.
Demolition has nothing to do with.
No, but
senior.
no, but the conversation's gonna come up about the cost of the demolition and how much money's left in both projects and this, that, and the other thing. And I don't think we can make a decision if we don't know where all the money is. And I don't wanna leave something open-ended. And I'm not pointing the finger at anybody, I just think we need to at least draw a line in the sand and say it's mid-June. Because I think we're 2 months out. That's my opinion.
Okay. You made the motion, is there a second for that motion?
I'll second the discussion.
Okay, so we're still discussing.
Yeah, so, and then at the beginning of June, we can always come back and revote it.
Correct.
If we need to extend it again,
We'll cut it
like I
short.
said, we're still here, so.
Yeah.
Sure.
I was hoping you'd work for free.
You like
Not-
this, but not that much.
Not for somebody else's mistake.
Yeah.
So you wanna take a vote? You got a motion and a second.
Do they have any discussion?
I'm waiting if there's any more questions. None,
What are
okay.
you gonna discuss?
Huh?
What are you gonna discuss?
I know, it's obvious.
Well, I think what we're discussing is, do you agree with the 8 weeks, or do you wanna do this every week? I just
We're
think.
doing it every week.
I know, but we have to give them a threshold, so we know what
Yeah, 8
the
weeks is
budget
fine.
is, that's all.
Yeah.
So right now, we're doing not to exceed 8 weeks.
Correct.
At
At
the
1862.50
per week.
per week.
Yep.
I think you should boost it up after 8 weeks.
No, you get this wrong. This is to hit their fees.
This is their fees, not
This
the
is their
contract.
fee,
We don't wanna
not,
boost it up at
not
all.
Stevens'
No, I
fee.
meant,
He gave you a raise.
And I want it for free.
We're not talking about liquidated damages.
1863.
Okay,
And
I wasn't
revisit,
there.
so the motion will be to approve what is it? DBBW, sorry.
it's right here.
Amended, I know, but it's too much paperwork going around. For CA services, for not to exceed 8 weeks at 1862.50 per week. And we'll revisit it again, beginning of June, just to see where we're at.
And Kevin seconded it.
Kevin second.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. All those opposed, passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Do we want to continue on with your
If I may,
question?
while we're on this topic, so I think maybe we should gather a consensus around the assessing of the liquidated damages, the 2,000
Correct.
a day. I know that's something you're gonna send a letter to them, but you wanted some kind of a consensus among the committee, so I fully support that, obviously, after this discussion, so I don't know if anyone else
I mean,
agrees.
I fully agree with it also.
So what's the motion to
It's not, we don't need
No,
to.
it's a consensus.
I'm looking for a-
consensus? Okay.
And you agree, disagree?
I agree.
Okay.
You guys agree?
Bob Kimball does, and
Bob Briscoe? Yeah.
so I
Unanimous?
think you've got a majority consensus.
What's on the letter?
Okay.
And then lastly, while we're on this topic, will we have a change order amendment for Vertex,
Yeah,
for your
that's gonna be my
services?
Right now, we're still within our budget, so,
Okay.
but the key to that too is tracking wise, is that we're still in our budget, I'm looking for an amendment, but it's a cost that you wouldn't have to spend
Okay.
if they were done.
Sure.
Correct.
So we'll be able to know, okay, this is how much more OPM services it was also.
So of the 2,000 a week that we hope to get, that
2,000
means,
a day.
Calendar day.
$14,000 a week.
that says per week.
That's them. That's for us. That's them.
No, your liquidated damages
Oh,
are
okay.
$2,000
Okay,
a day.
I'm confused again.
2,000 per calendar
The
day.
day, oh,
including
okay,
weekends.
so
Yeah.
we'll have enough money to cover you and
That's the
and
game.
Yeah.
So with,
Comedy
with Vertex, we're under budget. Steve doesn't think at this point he needs to do any kind of amendments.
So there is a consensus
Until it's necessary.
Yeah.
inform them that we would like to do that. Anything else, Kevin,
No, thanks.
other than getting my emails? I
Okay.
think while we're on it, before I let Steve start, I thought we had discussed the third telephone pole. Does anybody remember that discussion coming up? The voting members?
The third telephone pole?
Third flagpole, sorry.
Town hall.
That's town hall.
Town hall.
Oh,
That's coming up.
okay. I'm ahead of myself. Okay, you're all set, Steve. Next.
Okay, so just an update on the furniture. Most of the furniture order has been delivered to WB Mason's warehouse based on my conversations with their sales rep. I don't expect any installation anytime before June. June may be optimistic, but we gotta shoot for something. So I know that we'll be setting up a meeting installer who wants to come and take a look at the building, which they usually do. But it should be a fairly simple install for him because there's no second floor, it's all one floor, it's one grid.
Is there, sorry,
Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, is there a time frame storage, we have to pay more?
We've built in, I believe, 60 days from May for storage without an additional charge.
And when this topic comes up at the Tuesday meetings, CEDA wants it delivered on whatever the primary delivery date is, and they seem to be leaning towards putting in a storage trailer. But as Steve has been brought up, we want it delivered by Mason. We want Mason's person to install it or unpack it or bring it in. We don't want it a two-stage thing because WB Mason may not want to do the second stage.
Well, then you have to pay twice
So-
for
They
handling
don't,
it.
no.
Yeah.
It's one and done.
Extend the timeline,
In
no excuse.
keeping with trying to keep people up to date with what's going on, that we're aware of what they're trying to do and we're aware of what we're gonna do.
Yeah, and right now it's in a warehouse that most likely has controlled conditions. A storage bin does not.
Well,
So-
also, the storage bin would get in their way of final paving, so
Final
keep it
everything.
off site, no, it doesn't want it.
That was a short conversation.
Yeah. So don't blame us, it's in the way.
So don't bring it up again, Jim. I brought it up at the polls the other day, so that's a done deal. We're not
Oh,
delivering.
speaking of polls, look what's next.
I don't want to continue to be something that we've already talked about, but, you know, again, the Verizon issue continue to be a problem for our side. But we will continue to hound them until that bill gets installed. So, change order summary for the senior center. We haven't issued another change order. The last one that we discussed here was change order 4. We do have a draft of change order 5, which is right now is only including one PCO, which is for the split rail fence, which we agreed and approved at $5,148.13. That's for the fence that's going to be installed along the parking lot between the parking lot and the property line at the neighbors. So change orders to date, $170,036 and change. I've just put some estimates on change orders submitted for review, some that may be unsubmitted, just as an estimate to keep ourselves conservative. And right now, our construction contingency remaining is $677,498. So we're in very good shape for the senior center. And then the overall budget is, again, the construction contingency at $677,498. Soft cost contingency is down right now to $2,475. We did have an overage on the furniture. We still have contingency remaining of almost $680,000.
Okay, Kevin, you're gonna
Can you go back to the previous slide? And just from Bob Kimball's knowledge, can you just review quickly what change orders 2 and 3 are, given those are, if you recall? Just to fill him in so he knows where that's coming from.
Well, one was the pavers, was the big one.
Yeah, I think change order 2 had $67,000 for the composite brick pavers in the at the rear patio.
Okay.
Soils, wasn't that big one, soils too?
Oh, that's right, yes. Removal and bringing in new soil.
Those are the two big ones.
Structural
Yeah.
steel, yep.
Yeah.
There was some credits in there too.
Yeah, I mean, that change order wasn't just one item, it was a number of different items. I just don't
Unsuitable
remember off the
soils
top
was a
of
big
the
one, I
top.
think, yeah.
That was 2 or 3, So can we go to the next one, Fred?
What?
The next slide. So what we just discussed in terms of extending their fee would still come out of that soft cost, right?
Well, it would, if we're gonna assess liquidated damages, it would come out of that.
No, I understand that, but leave that aside for a moment. If it just comes out of the project budget, where does it come from? Do we have a design contingency or soft?
Coming from here.
Okay, so we're really,
For payment purposes,
yeah,
yes.
like 20,000 less than that, roughly.
Because what the liquidated damages would show up as like a credit change.
Yeah, I just always kind of keep them as.
Eventually, all the numbers just come down to what's left. You know, you put placeholders on certain things, and we still have some line items that I'm carrying that we may not use.
Correct.
So I'm again, being conservative with the budget. If, you know, legal costs, if we don't have any legal costs, it's gonna go to zero,
I agree.
just as an example.
Yeah, and that's why I always.
But I don't wanna put it to zero now, because you may need it.
There'll always be some legal costs, especially when you're behind schedule.
So this is a snapshot in time.
Yep, I agree.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
So Beth, I wanted to mention, your state grant, was it 60,000 that you got from Senator Howard? You have until June 1st to spend that, right? Otherwise you lose it, so I just wanna make sure you have a plan for that, unless I'm wrong, am I
I
right?
don't even know. Is there something we can bill against it?
It's kinda separate from the budget, I think it was up to you to spend it on whatever you wanted to, independent of this project, I believe, I mean, that,
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I know that the grant expires on June 1st, I'm asking you, I'm really not telling you,
I thought the money was put into, I thought it was put into with this.
The project?
Into the project.
I think
thought
we
kept it separate.
The only money right now that I put into the project was the $34,800
For the parking lot.
that you appropriated in 2023, which I believe was the work for the parking lot here that was not gonna be done.
Okay.
Any of the other
According
grants,
to
I-
the accounting, that was put in, it was supposed to be put into the project, but it was,
I think what happened was, because we realized we had such contingency remaining,
Took it out?
we took it out.
Okay.
We excluded it and let you spend it as you wish, and then, right?
Well, you had some grant money that you were chasing, but I don't,
I think-
it hasn't been finalized, so I didn't add it here. And there was the generator grant money that I met with Ray Ford and someone from MEMA, that,
I thought because it was early that we would be able to use whatever billables.
That had to be completed.
That's what Mike said, that we use the
Well-
billables for now,
Yeah,
and then have that money at the end to use for things that because I don't know what we're gonna
Yeah.
need.
But you gotta talk to Mike about this, because a few
Something
meetings
that
back, we had this
one person
discussion.
said
Yeah, yeah.
And it was pointed out that it's separate from any particular purpose grant, it was a general grant that
So
Steve
when we
Howard.
first got it, we
I
were
think
gonna
that's a
use it
follow-up.
for cement.
I think all of it.
We were gonna put it in, use it for the current billables, then at
Mike
the
is
end,
fine.
the money would be able to.
Talk to Mike.
I think the
Yeah.
short answer is there's a couple of things we need to follow up with and take care of it from an accounting standpoint, make sure it's
Oh,
all.
that's fine.
It may be in the general fund for the
Straight.
project, but not part of the project, if that makes sense. Because it may have been absorbed.
We ended the
The check
conversation.
may have been cashed. The question
Right.
is, where's the money?
Right, right.
And I think to
The
Kevin's
thing is,
point.
I can't spend it, I can't spend $50,000 right now. I thought we were gonna spend it on the project, and then at the end, there would be $50,000 left over that we could use for.
That's not how we left it.
Okay.
Yeah,
We
please
left it
talk,
separate.
please
That's
talk to Mike.
that's how I understood it.
Because I think we left it separate, because if it's in the budget and we come under, it goes back to the.
If you can't spend it, then
Yeah, right.
we'll find a way to spend it, but you gotta talk, because we ended the conversation that you had to spend that grant money by June 1st, otherwise you lose it. This is money that Steve Howard had
Right, right, right.
consistently on his own,
No, I know.
independent of any,
That was the earmark from Senator Feeney's.
okay, Feeney, sorry,
Because
yes.
I thought you said to buy all your finishes, like your dishes and your pots and pans and all that kind of
That's
stuff.
in the project.
Some of it was.
We have some line items.
yeah, we do. Because
So-
we had those line items
Yeah.
way before this
We
grant.
don't know what we're gonna need until we,
But-
for that.
Wasn't there a discussion of food pantry needed new refrigerators?
They could get rid of
That was
it.
something different.
Was that something different?
That's-
That was
yeah.
something
And that's not me anyway.
But just, I wanna
No,
make sure
no,
you
I
don't
get
lose
that,
it,
yeah.
I wanna make sure that
Yeah.
60 grand doesn't slip
Yeah,
away.
yeah, no,
You got a
yeah,
month.
I will
We'll
talk to them about that.
We'll talk to Mike tomorrow, because he usually attends the
Yeah.
meetings.
He
You're
probably,
gonna
he
mention
probably
this
knows.
to them? Thank you. Just keep me in the loop. If I have to go shopping.
Bob Kimball, yes.
So, just to be clear, I'm not familiar with what you're talking about, but I will tell you that when we get grants, the money has to be earmarked for certain things. You have to spend that, and sometimes with some grants you have to show what you spent it for. If the money was given as a grant to be put into a separate account under the general fund, we put in a separate account where it's earmarked for whatever purposes they want to use it for, then you don't have to worry about it becoming rolling over into the general fund and free cash and all that crap.
Yeah, that's
You
what
know,
I think we need.
So as long as it's put into a separate account, it's protected. As long as you don't have to prove what you paid, what you bought with it before June first. If they're just gonna give you the money, then put it into a separate town account to be used whenever you wanna use it.
Yeah, it was, thanks for that, Bob, but I don't know, I wasn't, did you get it like last June first? Was it something that was only good for a year? And it was.
We got an extension because
Okay.
we had it before we even started.
Yeah,
I remember my initial conversations where we were gonna use it right away, like for the cement.
We were gonna apply it to
Foundation.
foundations because it had a very short
Right,
duration.
and then
And they said, well, why don't we ask for an
An
extension?
extension,
And I-
right.
yeah, sure.
and then I think one of those, two change orders may have covered it, and we told you, use the money for
Right.
anything you need to use it for, just use it by June
I
first.
didn't know if we needed to use it by June first.
Yeah, it was probably the note somewhere, because I remember it very vividly. But talk to Mike, please, make sure that
That was
you
just
don't lose
track
it.
it down.
Yeah. Swimming.
They're more than 60
Boat
grand.
ramp.
And my outdoor
Can you
pavilion.
pre-buy materials or anything?
Well, I mean, that's, and where do you keep it?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's a whole slew of issues why we wanted to use it up front and that on the cement or whatever, and then have it left over.
A raging party at
We
the
may,
end.
we may end up doing the same thing, but on
Cruise.
something
On
else.
something else, if we can do it that way, that would be better, because again, I don't know what we need, and I don't have any.
We'll talk
place
to Mike, because
store it.
maybe what can be done is the requisition that's being approved now on my cover letter for recommending approval, just break out X amount of dollars to be applied to whatever the line item is, that has a grant description next to it.
Right.
So that accounting, town hall accounting can apply
Right,
it to
but we
whatever
wanna
that
make
number
sure
is.
that we have access to that money on the tail end.
But theoretically, that 50 or whatever it is would be put back into the overall budget out of the
So you
construction.
could, again, so when the project is closed out, whatever the balance is, isn't going anywhere. It's just gonna reduce our tax liability for the debt exclusion, so
Right,
it's not
but
like you're gonna get a check back. But you talked to, I think it was Jim actually who brought it up and motioned it, because he knew that we had a lot of contingency money. He didn't want you to have to pay for the concrete
Right.
for the brick, setting, out of that grant.
Right.
That wasn't earmarked for
I
anything
remember that.
when
Yeah,
we
that was
received it.
recently.
And
Yeah,
then
'cause
I
that
think
was-
we all voted to remove that from the budget, give the grant back to you with the stipulation that you need to find a way to spend it by June first. So if we're gonna meet right before June first, our next meeting, I'm guessing, right? So if we have to take a vote, we have to take a vote by then, but you should get it resolved between now and then, Beth.
Well, we'll bring it up to Mike tomorrow, and he should be able to resolve and answer the question by the next Tuesday meeting, because we see him every Tuesday. And then we should be able to come back, or I should be able to come back, or Steve, and give you a definitive answer at our next full permanent building committee meeting.
Or we may have to act on it before that.
You'll have 2 days
So
suspended.
Well-
It may be just telling you what we did.
Well, keep in mind, the 27th is Memorial Day, so the meeting, I know we're jumping ahead, would be the week before the 20th.
That's
We
what-
would have a little bit of time. Going by the calendar right now, that's all.
And we may get a positive answer that it's already covered by something.
Well, we just don't wanna panic at the last minute, so at least we get a little bit of time. as we can.
I'm thinking the glass is half full, everybody else is thinking the glass is half.
I'm thinking the glass is broken. Ultimate testament. All right, are we done with the Sims? Town hall, okay.
Ready for town hall?
Okay, I guess, no more questions. No phone calls from the audience.
Yeah. Photo kind.
Okay, so update of the town hall progress from since our last meeting. Wood and metal wall framing is, on the interior, is essentially complete. Door frames have been installed, 2 vaults are complete. Insulation is complete. Sheetrock installation and taping is essentially complete on the first floor. It's ongoing on the second floor. Prime painting is started on the first floor. Roof shingles are complete, snow guards are installed. Siding trim and exterior caulking is nearly complete. We actually had a couple of siding, 2 guys from the siding crew was working this past Saturday. Elevator installation is started. Lightning protection is started. The fire protection, plumbing, HVAC, and electrical technologies rough-ins are continuing. The west exterior stair and landing, concrete has been installed. They've done the prep for the exterior equipment pad, generator. Temporary heating is available as needed. We still have the unit, our units in front of the building. And M. O'Connor is 52% complete through March of 2020. So some progress photos. But on the left is the south front elevation as of this past Saturday. But on the right is the southwest elevation, sort of walking around the building. What's the fire station? Next is the west elevation, and photo on the right is the northwest elevation. And the photo on the left is the rear elevation, facing the highway department.
Yep.
Photo on the right is progress in the elevator. And on the left is a view of the elevator cab. And the photo on the right is a view of the elevator shaft with various components installed on the walls. Next photo on the left is just a view of the main lobby. It's actually from the corridor that heads down to the south floor room. Photo on the right is a view of the second floor main corridor. That area here with the orange curtain is the elevator.
That's just a safety screen, right?
Yeah. Photo on the left is the view of the Board of Health office waiting area. And the photo on the right is the town manager's office waiting area, both on the second floor. See that they're taping, and then in this town managers, they get the board up and start the taping. Next photo on the left is a view of the snow guards. This is along the roof line coming in the main entry of the building. And then I just did a close-up view of the snow guards. Just from the second floor window. Next photo on the left is mechanical HVAC units up on the attic space. And the photo on the right is a prep for the generator pad 4 at the rear of the building. Questions on photos? So schedule look ahead, complete the sheetrock and taping, continue prime painting on the inside, start the acoustical ceiling grid, complete the elevator installation, continue with the MEPFB rough-ins, connect permanent power. They're looking to connect permanent power so that they can energize the septic system so that the tanks would no longer need to be pumped on a 2-week rotation, because that's still an active system from the fire department. Then they also complete the siding trim and exterior caulking, start the exterior painting, weather permitting, which I think we're getting into good weather consistently now, and then continue the septic system and drainage.
I know you mentioned this before. How are we paying for the septic?
It's coming out of the operational.
Okay.
So other issues, furniture purchase orders to be issued by the town to W.B. Mason. That's an ongoing process. And the IT network, we did have an update meeting last Tuesday, and went over a number of things. Most everything is either purchased or is in the projects, purchased a couple other odd items that need to be resolved with Charlene and Ray. Schedule-wise, MOCON is still showing a 3-week schedule slip due to the wet building and remediation activities. We have sent comments back to them saying that it's not a valid reason for an extension in the contract, because weather is not a valid reason for an extension, and plus the fact that they allowed the water to enter the building, so remediation was on them. And verbally, they seem to acknowledge it, but on paper, they haven't quite got there yet.
Because we didn't have much snow this past winter, so the weather was on their side, I think.
It was, but they, you know, they did, they could have done a little bit better job in protecting the roof before the shingles got on. That was their means and methods decision, and they ended up having to do remediation because of it. So, but again, you know, I don't think they've been impacted. I think they're just trying to get some additional time.
They want time only?
They haven't officially requested a time extension. Their schedule update shows a later date. So, I'm just inferring that I think they're gonna get additional time.
The only reason I bring it up is because we got 2 projects in the same town at the same time. Can it be fair to both? You know what I mean? We can't give any preferential treatment, that's all. I don't wanna get into that thing, but
No, it's
even
much,
though these guys doing great, and that's in 3 weeks, no cost, no problem, but it's just my opinion.
There's
Much
no
cleaner to-
reason for it.
Yeah, but if they don't need it, they don't need it.
much cleaner to stay by the contract language and not really
Like,
unfair practices. The ongoing bigger issue, which is at this point right now not has no responsibility on the contractor, is the existing town hall demolition. As we said last time, we're reviewing the cost versus remaining budget. What's in the contract is only the demolition of the food pantry. So we asked DPW for a proposed amendment for completing construction documents, completing the investigation of the existing conditions, generating construction documents, and providing construction administration if we were to proceed with the demolition. I think the steps would be to have that document, we would present that to MOCON for pricing, and once that pricing comes back, we would decide whether we can proceed or not, depending on how the budget sets up. The amendment that provided includes construction administration. If we opt not to go forward with it, that just wouldn't be charged. And they're breaking those numbers down between DPW and their respective consultants. So right now, the amendment for the AE piece is $130,600, which Jim was sent to you, or is in the packet that Jim made copies of. So I will be asking for approval of that amendment if everybody feels that, at a minimum, having the documents available, whether we use MOCON or not, or you do it later on with someone else, at least that package is done.
I have a few questions about that. So that's just the design. And at this point, we can't say how much we think the demo's gonna be. Is it
That's
as a
another
design?
slide.
Okay. But also, oops, disappeared. That would take place, because the town hall has to move out before we can tear their roof off and tear the buildings down around them. So that can't start until this one's occupied, correct?
Correct, and if we were to commence with that, it would be somewhere around August timeframe through likely December.
Yeah, so it's basically another extension of contract to extend both their services.
Correct.
And we don't have a proposal from you, right?
No, but I put in.
Okay. And it's included in the 130 or no?
No, just
Okay.
on the next.
Okay.
I'm giving you an estimate of where I think we may be.
Okay, no, cool. I think we should go to that one before we
Yeah.
approve this one. the other question is, does the 130 count any constructive testing? How do we know if this is asbestos or not underneath the existing floors?
We already have
We have an
a,
abatement plan.
We do have one?
we have a hazardous materials survey report.
We have one, okay, good.
We did one on that building
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
way back,
Axiom.
actually, under GDA.
Yep. So we have that information.
Okay, perfect.
So, again, you know, there would be the remaining investigation, because there's a certain point where, because you know it's a tangled mess of utilities down there.
Existing building, people are in the way, you can't see
Yeah.
everything, yeah.
And getting the construction documents, we'll issue a proposal request to Ellen Connor and find out what their numbers are for abatement, additional abatement demolition and the construction of the outside wall.
Okay, Kevin had a question.
Yeah, so, I know you're breaking it out, but I would like to see the amount without the construction administration, and perhaps the committee can only vote to approve that amount, not knowing if we're gonna move forward with it or not. For example, if your oversight for construction administration is 30 grand, we're not committing to that. I'd rather just vote on the 100,000, you know, the difference, but that's just my opinion.
It makes sense to me, yeah. Just break out the design cost to get us to the estimate.
Right.
And then when we execute a change order, then we execute one for the administration. That makes sense.
We can do that,
Yeah.
and I've asked for that breakout,
Yeah.
and I just don't know if you have all the,
I didn't get it all yet.
so, I guess the question is, can this amendment wait another month? To issue a proposal request?
So we don't know if the town is gonna have the money to go forward with the project.
We
don't
won't know until we get the proposal request priced up by the contractor.
Which is all part of your regular planning fee, right? Your
Correct.
architectural fee. So the construction administration, we don't know if we're moving forward on it yet, or even if we would choose you folks to manage it, you know, who knows? And it's up, could be up to the select board at that point. So I wanna be able to show them a number that excludes any construction-related costs of construction administration for DBCW.
Well, I know we had 15.7 in ours for CA. What I'm trying to get at is what structural had for their piece, what GGD had for their MEP piece.
You
I
had
didn't
some
get
of them,
that
but not
kind
all
of-
of them.
So that would be in addition to the 130?
Oh, they, no, it would come off of that.
Off yours?
Because we wouldn't, you didn't move forward with it, we wouldn't.
What we want to do now is we want to know what their site investigation and generation of construction documents cost is. The CA, like I said, you don't see forward, that would never be charged.
Right.
So
That's why I wanna see the difference, see what.
I mean, if we look at, you said 3 months, we think, for the whole process? Did you say roughly 3 months, August to December, is that what?
You know, again, we're doing estimates right now because we don't have a design yet.
No, I agree, and I'm just saying, if you went by the
So a
same
day was
1800.
7,500 for CA?
Yeah, a month, right?
No.
Maybe he has the numbers now.
Hold on.
The documents cut off here, the
Yeah.
copy that you sent.
No, I didn't get them this morning in enough time.
Well, I was just going by the numbers you had previously, of what, 1,800 a week or whatever it was?
They're different, you're mixing them
I
up.
think,
Okay. Different?
I think my administrative assistant tried to add the prices on the end where your right lens of your glasses are. You'll see 2 columns in handwriting
Okay.
and a total at the bottom. That's a continuation of the panoramic view that was put in the, I didn't push the wrong right button to get it.
Yeah, I think the best action is to approve something. I just think, to Kevin's point, we need to know what that something is. If we come to a not to exceed amount,
Maybe we
Bear
can
with
look at,
me.
hold
Bear
on,
with
hold
me.
on.
then we can at least move forward. Until we get almost a full year.
There it
So
is.
really, GZA would only be 2,500, right?
20, I think it's 20,
25 now, the rest is all,
I thought it was 37.
no, for the, oh, you're right. It's 3,750 plus the 2,500, I think. It's the difference,
What was O'Day? 75?
7,500.
So you just got that.
GGD was 4.
for.
We're 15.7 for CA.
Oh, wait a minute, are you giving me CA numbers or?
These are all CA numbers.
Oh,
They take
oh.
off the 130. Hold on. Actually, the pre-construction meeting isn't necessary, it's just the 3750 GZA. So it's the 25,250 comes off of GZA.
Because I think we're gonna have to do this exercise anyway, whether we treat it as a separate project or change order to this one, you know, with everybody asking what we're gonna do, so I think we still have to design it. It's just comes down to cost.
No, because this was 29.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it, we need to get the design in order to get the construction.
Correct. No, I agree.
Let's see it.
So what's VHB?
Hang on.
I'm adding up the design numbers. I think they had theirs.
4,600.
4,600 is their CA?
Yeah. So it's 57. 450 is CA total. Minus the 130.
Get this out of
73,550.
Yep. So that's the design, the site investigation and design construction document cost of the 130,673,550.
In the RFP. Get us all
735.
the way up to pricing.
550?
73550, yep.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so, no, Bob would probably better speak to this from his experience, but obviously in our contingency money, we're not gonna have enough money to do this, right? So the time frame of August, September is unrealistic, because there'll have to be some way to come up with the remaining funds, whether it be, I know Mike Innes was gonna try to determine if the original article allowed us to take the remaining contingencies from both projects and bundle them. Not quite sure.
But we're on the budget, right?
We're on the budget. So I'm looking to do this within the town hall budget, the whole thing.
Okay.
Actually, so I skipped down to what I think, again, snapshot in time, and making some assumptions. Construction contingency remaining as of today is 490,083. Soft cost contingency 185,609. Bid savings, we're still a little over $800,000. That's 1.43. Less, and I base this on the total.
Yeah.
Less the 130,600 for AE costs, OPM fees of another 2.5 months at 100,000, and just a rough construction estimate, 900,000, because the estimate back when we took it off the project was 830 or something like that. So that would leave us still with remaining funds of over $350,000 that wouldn't be spent.
Gotcha. Now let me ask a
So-
question. Oh, go ahead.
So if for some reason we do the design and O'Connor comes back and it's $2 million, we're dead in the water, and that's where, then it just stops there.
Well, my question was, are these numbers based off the approved money, the bid of this job, or the approved money from town election money? You know what I mean? Because that's the 800, right, the bid savings?
Yeah,
Right.
that's based on the budget of what was appropriated for the
Okay,
project.
that's what I'm talking about, appropriate.
And less all of the placeholders we have in O'Connor's contract amount,
Perfect.
which
Okay.
was health and safety.
That's what I'm wrong with.
So what I'm saying is there's a potential that this can be done. What we need to have the design first to give them something to price, because
Mhm.
we don't have anything right now.
Correct.
And the amount of that is 73,550?
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve existing conditions review, document preparation, design work to remove the old town hall for, basically for planning purposes at this point, excluding any construction administration of $73,550.
Second.
Any more discussion on the motion?
My only concern would be, and I totally agree with what you're talking about, I think it's the right way to go. Knowing that building as well as I do, we wanna have someone go in with new eyes and look at it. We don't want any big surprises where suddenly we got $353,000 and bingo, we've got
Zero.
a tomb buried down there that no one seems to know about. I mean, there's some real challenges in that whole building.
We don't have X-ray vision, but we'll do our best.
Well, we'll find a pot of gold.
But as part of our work, we have site visits by all of the engineers, including us, to go back into that building and look at it as it stands today, because it was 2 years ago that we were in there.
Right.
And we looked at it with SD glasses on, you know? I mean, it was really a different animal at that point.
And whatever we come out with numbers wise, once they're done with their design, we put something into M. O'Connor's hands, they come back with a number. That number can't be maxing out our budget. We have to have
Contingency.
contingency built in there, which, you know, like the contingency right now is 350, you know, which will, then, you know, the budget will be gone, but we certainly don't know what's behind certain walls or, you know, how many layers of, you know, floor. I've been on projects where you thought there was one layer of flooring and it was ended up being 3.
Right.
And it was
It's
all
asbestos.
VAT.
Yeah.
So, you know, so we need to have that included and not just max ourselves out and say, there's no change orders on this because we know that.
The town built the fire station. We know what's in the fire station. We built that. We didn't build that auditorium.
Nope.
And the College of Mines built that back in 1900 something. And we have no idea what they have in there. There's no real clue about what's in there. In addition to that, you've got old firing ranges in there. You've got old showers and bathrooms that were in the bowels of that basement that most people don't see or I'm even aware of. So we don't know what we're gonna run into once we start digging.
Firing range will mean there's lead. We pulled those out before.
Exactly.
So M. O'Connor will do the investigation, and then will they put it out? No, you will.
Our team will do the investigation, develop the drawings for them to price. Send it out to all of the subs, to get numbers put to it, and then it'll come back.
Okay. In their proposal, can they give us enough time for that price to be valid? Like 2 years might be a long time, but in the event that it comes
30
back,
days.
it's only 30 days.
So we would have to.
We'll be
basically
lucky.
Pull the
Yeah.
trigger, right, because we're trying, if this all works, we're trying to just keep them going from phase
Yeah,
1
yeah.
right into phase 2.
So the critical piece to this is not only the timing from that regard, but also to tell them to not do the work that we have to improve what's there. So it's not only, you know,
Look at the
don't
demo.
move forward with the demo of the food pantry, we want a credit back on that. Don't do the roof work on that building and the painting and the patching, we want a credit for that work. So that's part of the equation.
Gotcha. That's why it's important to do it with them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then to keep that time frame as short as possible,
Mm.
so that it doesn't extend past really December.
So just to reiterate, step 1 is design it, down to the 73,000. Get our change order in, find out where we are price-wise. We'll know where, if we're close to that 900. We execute it, then we just hope that nothing else happens on the site and we don't get any secrets in that building.
Well,
Which is that $350,000 buffer
back to
we're
your
talking about. right?
matrix, you have a buffer right now
Yeah,
in
you
your
do, right?
assumption.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure everybody understands the numbers. I mean, 350,000 is a lot. If it's already at 900, and 350 is a lot. I mean, extra money. It can't be that much.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I have, for
Surprises.
other change orders. Yeah, if you look at this, under my change order summary,
Mhm.
I've also targeted $200,000 as set aside for future change orders for phase 1 and phase 2 if we don't
Yep.
do this project.
Right.
So there's,
That's in the form.
there's little buckets of money
It
here.
might be enough money. I'm just saying to give everybody a comfort level. There's still potentially 300 extra thousand left for any things we don't know about as related to the demolition.
And
The thing we're most
Because on the
concerned
building, I
about
think
that
we're in good
building is the
shape.
utilities.
Yeah,
Utility.
They're
Utilities.
buried in there everywhere.
Because again, when the fire station and the town hall addition were built in the late seventies, there were existing utilities in there. Most of them got bypassed, but some of them got backfed and some of them still actually go through.
Yeah.
And
That's the risk.
you're dealing with, as
Yeah.
Bob said, 120 years of
Yeah.
infrastructure that's just been layered and extended, modified. No one's gonna know. We won't even know.
Nobody will, yeah, that's,
And we can't shut the fire station down.
You
Correct.
can't take
So,
any of
yeah.
it.
They're gonna do
Hey, what
HVAC.
happens when we do this?
yeah.
You're gonna do HVAC sitting on that roof, that's gonna have to go somewhere else. You're gonna have to reroute all that if it's gonna be used. And then the HVAC would be.
So that's part of that equation with this, is to make sure that whatever is still necessary in the new building can be rerouted to keep that running.
Correct. I agree.
Can I ask a question? Kevin, why did you ask for a 2-year?
Actually, a year probably would be, only because if it comes back 2 million, and the select board still wanna move forward with it, we don't have to go through this all over again in a year to get a new price. But that's what's gonna have to happen. So
I think-
if we
yeah.
can't bundle it into the tail end of this project,
Yeah,
then it's.
I
gonna-
understand that, but I think the feeling of this committee who advises the select board and who listens to the town is that we wanna do it as a continuum of the town, cause
That's
the
what I just
reason
said.
it came back
I just said
up.
that.
Huh?
I just said that.
You don't wanna kick the can down the road, because the building
Right.
code's about to
Because
change.
the
Right,
way
that's
we
redesigning
sold
again.
this to the town was we were gonna destroy the old town hall.
I understand.
And
Completely, Jim.
it's coming back to bite us in the butt. And I think that the townspeople will want it to move forward as quickly as possible. That's why I was just thinking that 2 years, I couldn't picture.
I was almost gonna say 1 year, but if, I'm just trying to.
But you got an explanation, I just was
Yeah.
wondering what you think.
If it came back $2 million, well, obviously we can't do it like we prefer to
It
do
has
it
become
in
a
this
new-
project.
it has
So I
been-
wanted to, it would be nice to have a quote that would be good for a little while.
No, because
But,
the building codes are gonna change. You'd have to revisit it again.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
And we-
Funds
I
don't
mean-
fall under the debt exclusion.
Yeah.
Funds don't fall under the debt exclusion. We're not gonna be buying anything or paying for anything for the next few years. We're in
Correct.
trouble.
Yes.
So, the town's not gonna be very sensitive to us coming back and saying, okay, we got some money, but we need some more.
Yeah.
It would almost be like we have to extend the debt exclusion in a certain way to do it.
Mm.
Because we're not gonna have the funds to subsidize anything like this for
I
a
agree.
year or two ahead, 3 years, 4 years.
I just didn't want, like I said, to be a $2 million project, and then next town meeting, ask for another 73,000, basically do what they've already done, because the quote expired, but there's no way around it, I get it.
I think we see where the money is, and the only other alternate would be, is if we're $100,000 over, is there a way to borrow that against the senior center? That'd be the only other option.
I was gonna say, the thing that would have to happen is we have to have, my understanding is you have to have a town meeting vote to utilize leftover funds from the
Correct.
senior center for the town hall.
As long as it stays
Get that
under the
vote.
cap.
Correct.
Right, yeah.
As long as it stays
But
under the
without
cap,
asking
it's
any
okay.
more, just
That's all you
take,
need.
yeah,
Down-
but right now
down
you
the
can't just do that.
And
But
we're all-
we
we're all
need
guessing.
concrete numbers in order
Yeah.
to even propose anything like that.
Yeah.
Correct. And hopefully they come in under 900, we're good.
Okay,
I get a
any other
motion.
questions?
Oh, he made the motion.
I don't know if there was a second.
I'll second
Yes.
it.
Bob was second.
I
Bob,
get it.
Bob
Bob,
seconded it?
I'm sure our secretary got it down.
Yep. Well, it's two Bobs, I wanna make sure I get the right one.
And we can be sitting sideways.
Actually, he can't.
Do we have to get name tags, so you know?
No, he can't second it anyway, it's a town hall.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I got it right.
The other Bob seconded it.
Yes,
I know
that's
that.
right.
Okay, so
Okay.
take a vote, Jim.
Yeah.
All those
Thank
in
you.
favor?
Oh,
Bob Cade.
Is everybody done?
yes, sir.
It's 7:30. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. Okay, all those opposed? Nobody? Passes unanimously.
Okay, perfect.
You need to raise your hand too, so we know who's, okay, thank you.
And Marcus is the because we don't.
Any snide comments, more snide comments towards the chairman? Okay, we're on again,
So
Steve.
I'll try and hustle up here a little bit. So we had some proposed change orders, just to go over. PCO 31 was from a some additional structural steel tube and stair B at $4,731.12. That was a structural thing, we vetted that out, we need that. And that work has been done. The next two have not yet. PCO 33, furnish and install a countertop at the assessor's waiting room, came in at $7,471.41.
No, it's not Carl.
Very, very, very high.
I was gonna say, how big is this kiln there? 12 feet? Long, 2 feet deep?
I think the
$300 in a linear foot. I'm in the wrong business.
Woodcraft was, I mean, there's markups on that, obviously, but Woodcraft was at $1,600.
Needless to say, we're still looking into that one.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's an alternative to that, but that's out there right now. The one I'd like to get a little bit of consensus on is there was a request for I should say, PCO 34, for a third flagpole with uplights. It came in at $20,500 for a third flagpole.
What was that request?
So do you want us to vote individually on these PCOs?
Well, they don't read.
No, I want knowing, well, we're gonna try and work 33 down a little bit more, I'm just telling you where it is. But the flagpole, I mean, the numbers that came in, you might be able to get it down a little bit.
It generally
but
raised.
The question is, I'm not looking for a vote, just say, do you want us to pursue it or not?
I have a question.
So it'll be either yes or no.
Okay, I made the proposal, but I'll let Brian answer the
Do
question.
we already own two? Am I adding a third?
Yes,
So what's the 20,000 for? If the lights are already there.
we didn't
how
have
far
on a
apart-
third pole.
No, you
Yeah,
got,
but you're already
There are
there.
three
so-
on each pole.
No,
Three
the
on each.
uplighting comes from the bottom of the pole.
I get that, but it's not, if they're running a separate conduit and a separate circuit, I can see 20 grand, it just seems high.
Those fixtures are actually very
Really?
expensive.
$7,500 for the fixtures.
Because they're in ground, they're rated for.
No, I know what they are. I
The
didn't think
pole,
of
the
that.
full
pole
immersion.
was 6. Because
Yeah,
it's
that makes sense.
It's a wind resistant, had calculations.
Is 30 feet on this?
Well, that makes sense.
30
I
feet
just-
tall.
I just didn't know if it was being treated as a separate pole and separate lighting and separate
It's in
everything.
a cluster, but they all have
It
their own.
just seemed awful high.
How big are the other poles? You got 3 flagpoles. Normally the American flag is on the tall one.
Yeah, in the middle.
And then the other two will be the same size, or they're gonna be staggered?
I think they were all the same size.
Maybe it was 225 to the 30.
That sounds right. Yeah, we
I
had
was-
225s originally.
The reason I brought this
We did
up,
this.
I was approached by the veterans agent. I was approached by 3 people in the town hall because I don't know if it was Mr. Bramwell or somebody, Bob Maderas. Bob Maderas had passed, and they could not put the flags at half-staff because only the governor and the president can tell you when to put the flags in. But if we had a third flagpole, we could put that flag at half-staff. So I made the proposal, I'm still sticking by it. We have money there someplace, and whatever.
Yeah, you do have the funds. The question is, do you want to spend $20,000 on the flagpole? If the answer is yes, then we can proceed forward. Maybe we can get them down a little bit, but before we really get into it, just wanted
So
to ask
the
the question.
purpose
No, we just
of
came in,
this
so-
presentation is, do you want us to approve the change orders?
No.
Or do you want us just to approve PCO 4?
Let's know if you want to pursue it.
I think it was consensus on 34.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we gave them delegation of authority, everything on 25, right? So it just needs consensus, do we want to add a
So
third?
I don't want you to come by and say, you approved $20,000 for a flagpole?
Yeah.
So I'm going,
Because it's at
do you
scope.
want me to approve $20,000 for a flagpole?
In the contingency fee, we have money to cover it.
Yeah,
Yes.
we do.
At this time, but my question is, how long till we get the design drawings and the change order, do you think, on the demo?
It's at least 6 weeks of our time and then 3 or 4 on theirs.
Okay, so I don't think we can wait that long.
Maybe longer.
We can't wait that long, because they
They're
get
gonna,
a
they're
order.
gonna take some time pricing that.
And that's perfectly fine, I wanna make sure, because flagpoles are, what, 6, 8 weeks to get one? Is it
At
law?
least that.
That's what I'm saying.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, so we either
I
have to
was
make a decision
surprised-
now, because we can't wait.
Yeah, I was surprised they said they could get one because I believe it took like 26 weeks to get the 3 flagpoles that are at the new athletic field, so.
Yeah.
You know,
Waited too
when
long
they,
to pull the
when they popped up and said, oh, somebody said somewhere, oh, we can get the flagpoles, no big deal, but it's $20,000.
It depends
We
what
have,
you
what I know,
Well, again, it's
$450,000 in,
Yeah, it's the light fixtures, it costs money to
What
set
do
the
you-
flagpoles.
I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. I'm more focused on number 33. I just wanna make sure that it doesn't turn into a bigger multiple change orders with the millwork. No?
No.
Okay.
No, this,
Okay, so we'll pursue the flagpole.
I agree.
We're gonna go back to the woodcraft on the countertop. All right.
Very good.
So the last, we skipped to my last one, so the last thing is just an update on change orders. So we have change orders 1 through 6, and draft of 7, so this is accepting, you know, the whole town demolition. $159,556 in change orders. Potential phase 1 and 2, I placed $200,000 there, so our construction contingency remaining is the $490,000 which we sort of already know. That's the last of my presentation.
Thanks, Steve.
You're welcome.
Before we close out the meeting, Mr. Chair, we want to check with Beth. I think I overheard Mike Units on the phone. I don't know if she has any more information on that. But anything else on the agenda?
not, well, hold on, I already buried it, to go home.
The business, that's the only thing that's left.
I don't think there was anything else on my agenda. Other than the next meeting date, that would
I
probably
think
be,
the
it.
20th is the Monday before Memorial Day.
Yeah, so that's what, the
27th is Memorial Day. So the meeting will be the 20th, so it's only 3 weeks now. That's okay.
Isn't that a
We're talking about the next meeting on the 20th?
Yeah, that's,
Do you have anything to share? Were you talking to Mike Units?
No.
Okay, sorry.
Right.
Yeah, and then it's Memorial Day after that. You have something on the 20th?
Huh?
You have something on the 20th?
I didn't bring my calendar, I'm away this week on the EMS bike ride, so the 20th,
You're back?
I should be home.
Okay.
Yeah, because my granddaughter's graduation, so.
Okay. Okay, good. All right, so the 20th. All right, I'll make a
Okay,
motion
the
to
next
adjourn.
meeting's at the 20th. Can we use this building again? We'll be here at the senior center at 6 o'clock,
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
What day?
Any other business?
20th.
Monday?
Right. Going once, going twice? I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Is he allowed to vote on an adjournment?
Sure.
Mr. Paul,
Just don't do it in the town hall, just do the one in that church.
Yeah.